Hello everyone, I welcome all of you to the first session on Computer Science Python Class 11. So dear students, in this session, I will be discussing the chapter number 6, that is Fundamentals of Python. So why chapter number 6? Why not chapter number 1? Yes, I would like to start with Python. So if I want to start with Python, I have to give you some of the basic knowledge. Yes, that is the reason that I have selected this chapter first. So, sir, will you not do other chapters? Yes, I will take you in the right direction. Please do follow me. I will be completing all the chapters. Please don't worry on that. So let me start with this topic first. So what is that I will discuss in this session? I will be discussing these three topics in this session, that is tokens, variables and assignments, and the last important topic, that is simple input and output. Yeah, what is tokens? Let me start with this tokens first. Imagine you are trying to construct a building. If you are trying to construct a building, so you need some of the basic elements or basic individual units. What is that basic individual units? Can I consider it as a bricks? Can I consider it as a stone, cement, iron? Yes. In the same way, if I consider a programming language, I need a smallest individual unit, such as keywords, identifiers, operators, literals, and punctuators. These are all the smallest individual units of a program. So this I will call it as a token. What is tokens? Dear students, please make a note of it. So it is very important that all of you should remember. You will get a question about tokens. Mention or write a note on tokens. Tokens are the smallest individual unit of a programming language, or you can also call it as a program. So we have 5 different types of tokens. The first one, as I discussed, that is keywords. The second one is identifiers, punctuators, literals, and operators. So what is this keywords, identifiers, punctuators, operators, and literals? Yes, I will be discussing that in detail one by one. Let me start with a keyword first. What is keywords? Keywords are the reserve words. Keywords are the reserve words which has got a special meaning. So what is that reserve words? Why are you using the word called reserve words, sir? Reserved in the sense it is reserved for some purpose. You cannot use such words for everything. So what is the meaning? Let me just take an example. Suppose if I want to declare a variable, let's say a is equal to 10. So I have this a. Can I call this a as a variable? So why are you calling this a as a variable? Because I'm trying to store the value in this. Yes. So can I call this a as a variable? Yes, I can call this a as a variable. So can I write a here? Yes, you can write. So in the same way, let's take one more example. This holds good for my thing, right? I will just write if is equal to 10. Can I write something like this? No, I am not supposed to write something like this, because if is a keyword. If is a keyword. If has got its own predefined meaning in the programming language. It will perform its own task. So I have some set of keywords which will perform its own task. So such keywords I should not use for all my purpose. It has got its own duty, its own task to perform. Hope I am clear. So guys, what is that you have to remember? Keywords are the reserve words which has got its own meaning. So what is that keyword, sir? Can you just give some examples? Yes, I have keyword called false. So this is one of the keyword. The same way I have none, del, from, class, try, import, and finally. So like this, I have plenty of keywords. Keywords are the reserve words which you should remember. It has got its own special meaning. So that's what you have to remember at this point of time. What is the next one that I have? So the next one that I have is identifiers. So you have to remember this identifier in the sense what? It's one of the important token that I have. So which will help me to name the different parts of the program. I will repeat for all of you. If I have the identifier, it will help me to name the different parts of the program. What is the meaning of it, sir? If you are taking any name, if you are trying to give any name, so that is what I will call it as a identifier in short. What is that I told? If you are giving any name, for example, for a variable you are giving a name, for a function you are giving a name, for a class you are giving a name, so that is what I will call it as a identifier. If you want to identify anything, how do you identify? By its name, right? In the same way, if I want to identify anything in the program, so I have to give the name for it. So with the help of identifier, I am trying to give the name for it. Point number one that you have to remember. A very important point with respect to identifier in Python that you have to remember is, point number one, you are not supposed to use keyword as an identifier. Please make a note of it. If I am trying to give a name for a class, I'm not supposed to use the keyword as a name for the class. First point that you should remember, I should not use the keyword. The second point that I should remember whenever I'm creating the identifier, please keep a smile on your face. Whenever you are trying to use an identifier, guys, you are not supposed to use the special characters. You are not supposed to use the special characters. So what are the special characters, sir? It can be star, it can be @, it can be slash. All these things will come under the special characters. You all know about it. But except underscore, you can use underscore, except underscore, you are not supposed to use any of the special character. First point is, you are not supposed to use the keyword. Second point is, you are not supposed to use the special character. The third point that you should remember is, please understand, you are not supposed to start the name, that is the identifier, with the number. In between you can use, but in the beginning you are not supposed to use the numbers, that is digits. So these three rules that you should remember whenever you are trying to create any identifier. So what is the next token that I have? The next token that I have is literals. In short, so I have given a lot of things. In short, if I want to tell you about the literals, whatever the value that I have, that is what I will call it as a literal. So what is that you are trying to say that is value? Let's take a same example, a is equal to 10. So this side, whatever I give, so that is what I will call it as a value. This value I'm trying to store in this variable. Yes or no? Yes. So this is what I will call it as a literal. Please understand. So if I call this as a literal, so I have different types of literals. So this is numeric literal. This is what I will call it as a numeric literal. In the same way, I have string literal. And I have boolean literal. Please understand. I have boolean literal, and also I have special literal none, I have different types of literals. What is the meaning of it? I have different types of values that I can store in a variable. So that is what you have to understand. So what is that you have to understand? Literals are nothing but the values, but at this point of time you have to remember, I have different types of literals. The first one is numeric literal, the second one is string literal, third one is boolean, and the fourth one is special type none. So all these things I will call it as a literals. In short, I will call this literal as a values or the data items. So what is the next token that I have? So let me start with a string literal. So guys, look at the string literal. So if I have anything within the quotes, guys, I will treat that as a string. So what is the definition for the string? A group of characters which is enclosed between the quotes is what I will call it as a strings. I will repeat for all of you. A group of characters which is enclosed between the quotes is what I will call it as a strings. So guys, you need to understand, I have given the two examples here. I have enclosed it with a single quote and I have enclosed it with the double quotes. So is there any difference between the single quotes and the double quotes? Yes. In Python, the single quotes and the double quotes exchanges the same meaning. You can use any of the quote, but the result remains the same. So that is what you have to remember at this point of time. So I will repeat. So strings are the group of characters which is enclosed between the quotes. So you can use single quotes or the double quotes. Both the quotes exchanges the same meaning. When it comes to the strings, how many types of string literals we have? We have single line string and we have multiple line string. Please observe, this is what I will call it as a single line string. If you have the string in one single line, so that I will call it as a single line string. What is the meaning of it, sir? If I have a group of characters in one single line, that is what I will call it as a single line string. So guys, please observe this. I have more than one line. So I will call this, I will call it as a multi-line string or multiple line string. So this is an example for multiple line string. So I'm talking about literals. What is the first literal that I'm trying to discuss? That is string literals. So what is the first string literal that I have? What is the meaning of string? So it is a group of characters that I have which is enclosed between the quotes. The two types of string literals, that is single line and multiple line. That is what you have to remember. Let me go to the next one, that is numeric literal. What is the next one that I have? Numeric literal. So guys, I've already discussed, suppose if you are storing this numeric value, so that is what I will call it as a numeric literal. This value is what I will call it as a numeric literal. So in this, I have three types. In this, I have three types mainly. I have more than that, but I'm trying to discuss only three types in this session. The first one is integer. All of you know about it. This is an example for that. So second one is float and third one is complex numbers. So complex number, float. So complex number, all of you know that. Let me not discuss about it. So float, what is this float? So guys, if I write 10.35, so guys, this is the integer part, this is the floating part. This is the floating part. So guys, this type of numbers is what I will call it as a float. This type of numbers is what I will call it as a float. So guys, now you have to tell me, so you have to identify what is float and what is integer. Let me just write 25 and 35.35 and 40 and let me just write 106. Okay, 101.6. Yes guys, this will come to what type of data type? Yes, this is integer. Okay, what is this? This is float because I have dot and the floating number. Yes, what is this? So this is also float because I have dot and the floating number. What is this? This is integer. So hope you all know about this, and also I don't have to speak about the complex number because all of you know about the complex number, real number and imaginary number that you have. So guys, moving on to the next one that I have, boolean literals. So guys, all of you know that we have two important things, that is true or false, that is 0 and 1. So that is what I will call it as a boolean literals. If I am trying to represent my value with a true or false or 0 or 1, so then I will call that as a boolean literal. That I will call it as a boolean literal. So guys, that is what you have to remember with respect to the boolean literal. So the next important topic that you have to remember, if I have some operator which will help me to initiate some action between the variables. So what is the meaning of it, sir? Suppose if I write a plus b, so I will call this a and b as a variable. So I have something in between, so that is what I will call it as an operator. So this operator initiates some action between these two variables. So such symbols I will call it as a operators. Such symbols I will call it as a operators. So I have different types of operators which I will be using in my programming language. What is the different types of operators that I have? Yes, let me discuss that in detail one by one. The first one is arithmetic operator. What is the first one that I have? I have arithmetic operator. So I have addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, modulus, and multiplication. So guys, all these things I will call it as a arithmetic operator. In the same way, I have bitwise operators to deal with binary bits. So what is the next different operator that I have? I have shift operator. So I will be discussing these operators with the help of programs so that you will understand why should I use all these operators. Yes, so what is the next one that I have? Identity operators. I have identity operator. In this operator, I have is and is not. So all these operators will come in your each and every chapter. So I will be explaining these operators with the help of the concept and program, so which you will be learning in depth. So as of now, you just have to understand what are all the different operators that you have. So the first one is arithmetic operator, as I told you, and the next one is bitwise operator, and the next one is shift operator, and the fourth one that I have is identity operator. So the next one, hope all of you would have come across with this relational operator, which will tell you the relationship between the two different variables. So that is lesser than, greater than, less than equal to, greater than equal to, is equal to, and not equal to. All these things comes under the category of relational operator. As of now, you just have to remember the names of the different operators that you have. So what are the next operators that you have? So you have logical operator, you have and, or, and also you have not. Okay, you have to tell me in Python, do we have not operator or not? Just have to tell me with this, find out this and get back to me on the comments. Guys, what is the next one that I have? Very important operator, that is assignment operator. And also we have one more operator, that is membership operator. So this membership operator and the previous slide I had mentioned, that is identity operator. These two operators I will be using in the strings operation. And also I have something called list and tuples. I will be using these operators most often in these two concepts. So guys, what is this? I have membership operator. What is membership operator? That is in and not in. So guys, in the same way, I have arithmetic assignment operators. I have arithmetic assignment operator. That is the last operator that you have. So in short, with respect to the operators, a symbol which will initiate the operation between two variables is what you have to remember. And you have so multiple different types of operators, which we will be discussing in detail with the program in different chapters in different concepts. Yes, moving on to the next topic that we have. So guys, the next token that we have is punctuators. If I want to have a meaningful statements in my program, punctuators are very, very important. Without punctuators, I cannot have the meaningful statements in my program. So such elements are called punctuators. What is that punctuators? Which are all the things I will call it as a punctuators? So guys, I will be calling all these things as a punctuators. Without comma, I cannot separate two different items. So in the same way, each element that I have, so it has got its own meaning in my programming language. That is what I will call it as a punctuators. So guys, with this, I have come to an end of different tokens that I have. So let me just recollect for all of you. So guys, how many types of tokens that I have? So please recollect. I have 5 different tokens that I have. So guys, what is the first one? Keywords. What is the meaning of keywords? Keywords are the reserved words which has got its own special meaning, which you should not use it for your own purpose to modify the value. So guys, that is what you should remember. What is that? Keywords are the reserved words. So what is the identifier? Suppose if you want to name the different parts of the program, so you will be using the identifier. What is operators? You have different operators. A symbol which initiates the action is what you will call it as a operator. And also you have literal. Literals are nothing but values. So you have punctuators to give a special meaningful statement in the programming language. We use the punctuators. How do you remember this? So just remember if. So if is a keyword. So guys, identifier, yeah, you are trying to create a variable. So guys, punctuators. So let me just use comma, literal in the sense value, operator in the sense plus. So by just looking at this, so you should be able to recollect everything. So that is all about the tokens. Let me go to the next topic. So guys, what is the next topic that I have? I have bare bones of Python program. What is the next topic that I have? I have bare bones of Python program. What is exactly this topic is all about? I just wanted to explain the structure or the physical components of a Python program. If I just take a Python program, how exactly it looks like is what I'm trying to explain you with an example. Let me start with a basic thing. So guys, please observe this. I have started with the hash symbol. I have started with the hash symbol. What is this hash? If I write anything with hash, so please understand that is a comment. So what is that? If I write anything followed by the hash, please understand that is a comment that I have given in my program. So what is the meaning of comment? These statements will not be executed in your program. These statements will not be executed in your program. So that is the first point that you should understand here. So what is the next thing that I have? Please understand here I'm trying to use a keyword called def. So I have already explained about the keyword. Keyword in the sense it has got its own meaning. So why do I use keyword? If I use def, that is the intimation that I'm trying to give. So guys, def in the sense definition. I'm trying to define a function. I'm trying to define a function. So guys, this is what I will call it as a function. This is what I will call it as a function. What is this? This is a function. How do you identify this is a function? Because of this keyword. Because of this keyword. Sir, how do you define your function? What is function? So what is the advantages of function? All those things you did not discuss. Yes, I'm just trying to explain the structure of the program. So you don't have to worry what is function, how do you write a function, all those things. We have a detailed chapter which I will be discussing in detail about these functions much later. So guys, as of now, you just have to understand this is a function. So why are you explaining it now? Because always your functions will be defined in the beginning of your program. That is what you have to understand. So where you will have your functions? You will have your functions in the beginning of your program is what you have to remember. So what is that I have after that? So the main program code you will have after your function. So this is my function. I will have it in the beginning. So after that I will have my program. That is what I will call it as a main program code. That is what I will call it as a main program code. Please understand all these things I will call it as a statements. All these things I will call it as a statements. Yes. So guys, observe here, I'm just writing a is equal to 15. Sir, what is this a is equal to 15? I'm trying to create my own variable, that is a, and I'm trying to store the value 15 to this variable a. So I'm not writing any data type here. If you have studied any other programming language like C, C++, Java, so guys, you would have come across with a concept called data type. You have to mention what type of data type is this variable is. But here I'm not mentioning any of the data type. That is the speciality of Python programming language. You don't have to specify the data type. That is most important thing that you should remember. So fine. So this is my statements. I'm trying to print a plus 3. All these things is fine. So I will have my statements. The second important thing that you should remember is, so guys, whenever your statement ends with colon, so guys, you have to imagine, you have to understand the next line will start after one tab space. That is the next important thing that you should remember. What is that you have to remember? Whenever your statements, this is what you will call it as a statements. Whenever your statement ends with colon, so you have to understand the next line will start with one tab space. What is the meaning of it, sir? So all the statements, whatever I have after one tab space, you have to understand that these statements belongs to this particular block. These statements, whatever I have, so that statements belongs to this particular block. A set of statements is what I will call it as a block. So why do we have this concept? So in any other programming language, suppose in Java, C or C++, we use a flower bracket. So within this flower bracket, whatever I write, the statements, so these statements I will call it as a one block. This statement I will call it as a one block. So instead of this flower bracket, we are just using this one tab space. How do I know that I have to give one tab space? You will have the colon. Suppose if your statement ends with a colon, automatically you have to give one tab space. Suppose this, sir, then you have taken the statement out of this indentation. What is the meaning of it? Then it means to say that this statement does not belong to this block. That's it. This statement does not belong to this block. So suppose if you want this statement also belongs to this block, what you will do? So you will just give one tab space and you will bring it to this alignment, indentation. That's all you have to do. So same way, please identify here. So do I have the colon? Yes, I have the colon. So then what is that I have to do? So you have to give one tab space. So do I have the colon in that line? No, I don't have. So I don't have to give. So guys, this is with respect to the indentation. I just wanted to explain. This is with respect to the indentation. You have to remember. This with respect to the statements. This is with respect to the statements. This is with respect to the functions. This is respect to the comments. So guys, what is that you have to remember? So if you start your line with hash, so you should treat it as comment. You should treat it as comment. Sir, can I give the comment here? Yes, you can start. Can I have a comment here? Hi, something like this. After typing this, can I have the comment here? Yes, you can have. That is the best way of writing the program. You should explain what exactly is happening in this line. So that is the best way of practicing the programming language. Yes, this is all about the comment. So the next, always your function will be in the beginning of the program, and then after that your main programming will be there. And this is what your statements, this is what you'll have a statement. This is how your statements looks like. And then always remember, so you have, whenever your statement ends with colon, you will have indentation. What is the meaning of indentation? You have to start by pressing one tab space. So if you want to have the block of statements in that, if you want to have set of statements in that particular block, you have to align it by giving one tab space. If you are bringing out of that, then it means to say that that statement does not belong to that particular block. That is what you have to understand with respect to this. So what is this CU? Please understand one thing. Suppose if I write anything, any parenthesis like this, before this parenthesis, if I write anything, let's imagine I have written CU. Okay, what is this? This is a function call. This is what I will call it as a function call. What is the meaning of it, sir? I have defined the function here, right? I have defined the function here. This function will be executed here. This function is executed here. The execution of the function will not happen here. So this function will be executed here. Why? Because the function call is happening here. What is that you have to understand? So I can call the function in any of the part of the program is what you have to understand. So guys, point number one, comments. It starts with the hash. Point number two, the beginning of the program, you will have the functions, if at all, if you have the function. Then after that, you will have your main program. And about the indentation, you will have the colon. If you have the colon, the next line automatically you have to give the tab space. And then you can have the function call in any part of the program. This is what you have to remember. This is the general basic things with respect to the bare bone of the Python program or the physical components of the Python program. So guys, hope I have given you the enough knowledge with respect to the different parts of your Python program. So let me not bore you by explaining everything in one class. So I have some more topic in this chapter which I will be explaining in the next session. Until then, please take care of your health, stay safe, stay at home. Thank you.